Thank you for joining us again today for our second press conference. Before we hear our House leaders, before we open the floor to questions, may we hear first the opening remarks of the authors and the House Resolution of both Houses number 7.
Thank you. Yes, Dr. Gonzalez to deliver the blessing. Thank you, Manjo. Good afternoon, our friends in media. Of course, today, ako, kasama ang mga authors, Majority Leader, Manny Felipe, Deputy Speaker JJ, and Deputy Speaker Tontet, and other House leaders and party leaders who are here this afternoon, magandang hapon. We filed this House number, resolution both Houses number 7, entitled a resolution of both Houses of Congress proposing amendments to certain economic provisions of the 1987 Constitution of the Republic of the Philippines, particularly on Articles 12, 14, and 16, pursuant to Article 17, Section 1, Paragraph 1 of the Constitution, which provides the amended all provisions to the Constitution be made by Congress with 3/4 votes of all its members. Our President, Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr., and our Speaker, House Speaker Ferdinand Martin G. Romualdez, and Senate President Juan Vic Zubiri agree that some economic provisions need to be relaxed. President Marcos Jr. said the 1987 Constitution was not written for a globalized world, and that's the way. That is where we are now. We have to adjust so that we can increase the economic activities in the Philippines. We can attract more foreign investors. He further said, allow me to make it clear the administration's position in introducing reforms for the Constitution extend to economic matters alone. For those strategically aimed and boosting our economy, nothing more. Speaker Romualdez, as a reaction, stated, at the risk of being persistent, we have been saying that we do not advocate any political amendment. He further stated that the President made it clear that these provisions hinder the entry of foreign investments and the potential for faster and inclusive economic growth, which in turn could translate into better life of every Filipino. While Senate President Vic Zubiri, together with Senators Loren Ligarda and Sanya Angara, filed Senate Resolution of both Houses number 6 proposing amendments to Article 12, Section 11 of the Constitution on ownership of franchise 6040, Article 14, Section 4 on education 6040, and Article 16, Section 11 on amending advertising industry 7030. It will give Congress the discretion to adjust the percentage of ownership of franchises, educational institutions, and advertising industries, pwede i-relax o pwede ding restrict. So on RBA's proposals are in toto with the RBA's of the Senate. Pareho po ito, kailangan lang namin na pag-usapan ang mga proposed amendment at sabayan ang Senado para mapabilis ang proseso, lalo na sa target ng Senado, sabi ni Senate President Vince, na before holiday. So yan po, maraming salamat po sa ating lahat.
Thank you, SBS Dom. Any more comment from our House leader? Okay, who would like to ask the first question? Yes, Big Simintap from Net 25.
Sir, with this filing of PH number 7, hindi naman kayo naiinip sa Senado doon sa RBH 6 nila. Kaya kayo nag-file ng same content of the resolution. Hindi naiinip ang House of Representatives dahil hindi pa nila naipapasa yung kanila.
I think the proper word is our action now is in line with our counterpart in the Senate. While they already filed the RBH 6, while they already started conducting hearings, as a co-equal equal partner in Congress, we are doing this so we can already also start in the House hearings, discussions on this matter.
Okay. Sir, just a follow-up.
Yeah.
Is it true that you're going to convene the plenary as committee of the whole in order to fast-track the passage of RBH number 7?
It remains to be seen. We'll wait for the action of the members of the House.
Okay, thank you.
If I may add, the word fast track is not proper. I think exhaustive is the key word here. The reason why we're doing this, whether we do it as a committee of the whole, is to exhaustively discuss this issue para mas malaman ng taong bayan talaga ano ba ang dinidiscuss.
Can you just add to what Congressman Elvin mentioned? With regard to sa tanong mo, I think it's also part of hastening the process. So as we all know, the Senate is conducting their own hearings, and we felt that it is also proper that the House will also conduct its own hearings. Yun na rin naman po yung mensahe ng ating Pangulo na dapat magkaroon ng healthy debate and discussion about charter amendments. So here in the House of Representatives, it is the intention of us as authors of the said resolution to foster healthy debate and discussion para mas maintindihan ng mga mamamayan at ng ating mga kababayan kung bakit nararapat ito para sa ating bansa at kung bakit naayon na po ito sa mga.
Dagdagan ko lang din yung sinabi natin mga kasama. Well, of course, napaka-importante na ito ay pag-usapan because amendment ito sa ating saligang batas. And it would be proper that the Committee of the Whole, no, lahat po ng miyembro ng Kongreso ay mapag-usapan ito at i-elevate yung level of discourse and discussion and debate dun sa usapin na sa aming paniwala ay maaaring makatulong sa ating ekonomiya. Ito nga yung pag-amenda ng ating economic provisions. Para patunay, isang patunay din na wala hong nag-iisip na magkaroon ng political provisions amendment dito sa ating saligang batas. And that is the reason why a Committee of the Whole is necessary para mawala ho yung mga agam-agam at yung mga pangamba ng ibang mga kasamaan natin at lalong-lalo yung mga kaibigan natin sa Senado tungkol dito.
Councilman Tismorio from Manila Bulletin.
Hello po, good afternoon. Actually, parang touch upon na rin na po ni Kong Ace yung tatanong ko dapat. But anyway, i-bring up ko na rin po. So for the record, absolutely this is only for economic provisions lang po yung hinahabol po natin. Once and for all po, no political amendments po dito sa ating RTA 7.
Well, you can get a copy of what we filed, resolution of both houses number 7. And this talks about economic provisions of the Constitution, which we would like to amend. And to further stress, those provisions that we placed here in resolution of both houses number 7 are the same provisions that the Senate also filed with their RBH number 6. Wala pong pagkakaiba. Kung ano po yung economic provision na gusto ng ating mga senador na baguhin sa ating saligang batas, yun rin po ang mga provision na nilagay namin sa resolution of both houses number 7. I think the thing will speak for itself. Klaro po ito.
Ang nabago lang po rito yung be it enacted by the Senate and the ASO on the Philippines. Yun lang po inalis namin. Kasi we're putting, we are legislating law, so doon po kailangan ito mag-pwede. Yun lang po inalis namin.
Thank you, sir. Gab Lalo from Inquirer.
Sir, anybody can answer po. During the last previous year, nagkaroon naman ng hearings for resolution of both houses number 6. I mean, Anong pinagkaiba nung magiging hearings ngayon for resolution of both houses number 7, considering na yung ibang mga aspects like economic amendments, discuss na rin naman previously?
Ito, resolution of both houses number 7 talks of a constituent assembly. If you look back on resolution of both houses number 6 of the House of Representatives, it talks about constitutional convention. Yun po pagkakaiba nun. Now, if you look deeper, as I mentioned earlier, the provisions which we placed here is exactly the same what the Senate placed. Para wala nang iba pang storya o wala nang iba pang mga iniisip o pangamba. So, wala nang duda rin. So, pinattern na talaga namin. Kasi baka sabihin nila may iba pang version yung resolution of both houses number 6 na final ng House of Representatives. Pero yung mode nun is Constitutional Convention. Ito, pareho-pareho na. Constituent, Assembly, exactly the same economic provision that the Senate has filed. So, siguro para wala na ibang pangamba.
And if I may add, no, yung RPH 6 ng House was for a constitutional convention. Ito, very specific na the 3 provisions that we want to amend. And we just also want to make it clear, while there are certain provisions, restricted provisions in the Constitution that other members feel should be amended, hindi na po namin tinakal yun because we would rather work with what the Senate wants to amend para, in order, para magkaroon na ng basis of agreement, di ba? Kasi can you imagine if we propose 5 amendments and they 3, baka tumagal pa. No? But in this case, the House of Representatives are already adopted the 3 exact provisions that our counterparts in the Senate want to amend.
Thank you. The next question, Kat Cortes of Radio Pilipinas.
Good afternoon po, Kongs. So, ibig sabihin po, kung mag-constitute committee of the whole po kayo, mas magiging mabilis po yung proseso compared po sa Senate na balak pa po nilang mag-roadshow. Ano po ba yung timeline natin dito, ng pagpasa po natin dito sa RDH 7?
Hindi yung committee of the whole, wala pa po yun. Kasi we have to deliberate it in plenary. I don't know. That is one of the proposals to make things, to hasten things. Because the House of Representatives has been in the position that these economic provisions should be made in this Congress, in the 19th Congress. So if we are with that thought that we would like these economic provisions of the 1987 Constitution be amended or changed, then we would want things to be made faster or to help expedite things. So one option that has been brought up is that the House will convene as a committee of the whole House and tackle it as one body. So we will wait for the RDH 7 to be referred by the Bills and Index Division to the plenary and subsequently to the Committee on Rules, or depending on the pleasure of the plenary. Then by there we will be able to say if we will convene as a committee of the whole House.
If I may add also, if you will remember, the chairman of the Committee on Constitutional Amendments, headed by Congressman Rufus, already did a roadshow. And all those findings, discussions, will be part of this discussion, which we can also submit to the Senate. But if you will also point out the difference, in the House, we will possibly convene as a whole, no? So it will be more exhaustive and participatory, despite the fact that we are a bigger chamber. But if you will look at the Senate's strategy, subcommittee, committee, roadshow, plenary, I mean, kayo na po ang mag-discuss. Kayo na po, in your mind, why? Kami, we feel that this should be discussed exhaustively. This should be expedited based on due process because we feel there's a need, no? The fact that we respect the way they're doing it, no? But you will see the sense of urgency in the House in this case because we really feel that the country needs it. Thank you.
Just to add, I would like to say na hindi namin fina-fast track on the railroad ito. This amendment of the Constitution has been discussed by previous Congresses. And we will get the knowledge from those caravans, those exhaustive studies, the many types of already road shows that we've already done in the past. And so, hindi ho ito purkit na gawa namin ngayon at na-file namin itong RBH 7 ngayon, hindi namin kinalimutan ang experience nung past. The only difference moving forward is we'd have to do this formally. And if we do it as a constituent assembly with the committee in the whole on the part of the lower house, this will be an exhaustive, again, hearing to call out experts, especially in the economic front, to call out experts again, the economic managers, to call out business chambers, para malaman namin yung side. Pati yung mga umaangal na tumututol dito sa mga provisions, we want to hear from them so that we can learn what provisions of the law we can improve for this Constitution. So, again, we are clamoring that this is not a fast-track method. This will be debated in plenary exhaustively like any other bills, especially that we are tinkering the Constitution. And so, we need this badly. And so, imamarathon po namin ito alang-alang po sa bansa.
And in addition, you also have to look into the window of opportunity to actually tackle this. Kasi pagpasok po natin ng kalahati ng taon, zona na yon, ang susunod na tatalakayin na ng House is the budget for 2025, where 99% of our attention will actually be focused on that. So if we are FEB now, March, April, May, June, July, we have more or less 3 months, 4 months of legislative time to actually tackle this. So I do hope that once the bill hits the plenary, action would be taken na mapag-usapan to sa pinaka-mabilis, exhaustive na paraan kung saan inclusive ito sa lahat ng mga stakeholders na magiging bahagi sa pag-uusap at pagpupulong.
Kong Ace?
Hindi, gusto ko lang i-emphasize kasi isa doon sa ating gustong amindahan dito sa RBH 7 ay yung ating pinasa, ay pag-institutionalize ng amendments under the PSA law. If you remember, pinasa natin last Congress yung PSA at binago natin yung ilang industriya bilang definition ng utility. So, ito ay hindi taliwas o hindi malayo sa kagustuhan ng ating mga kasama sa Senate na gusto rin nilang amendahan. Kung kaya inadapt natin in toto yung kanilang gusto, because if you remember, the Speaker has stated in all his statements before na we will embrace and adopt the RBH 6 of the Senate if indeed they will pass this on time. So yun lang ang aking gustong i-emphasize.
As one of the younger members in Congress, I think it's not just for expediency or for efficiency that we're actually hoping that a committee of the whole will be formed. It's also because it will allow all of us to participate directly. Kasi pag sa committee yan, yung members lang ng committee yung nandun. Alam nyo naman pag mas nakakabata, Hindi ho kami yung mga senior, yung mga nauuna dun sa committee. But when you do it as a committee as a whole, not only will we be able to participate directly as members of the committee, but most importantly, ang decision-making ng individual members, whether amenable to the resolution, at in the end, how we will vote, will all be properly guided by the inputs that we will be able to directly hear from the experts and resource persons.
Sundan ko lang yung sinabi ni ating magiting na congressman. Tama, yung committee in the whole, I personally would like that para makasama po lahat ng mga kongresista at malaman po ang mga issues kung sila sang-ayon o hindi. At mas maganda yon para makinggan. Kaninang press conference natin kaninang umaga, I already emphasized to you that Congress has done its duty to pass LEDAC and legislative measures ahead of time. We did it last December. We only have 3 left. 3, boss. What the other one, itatakel pa natin. At 2 na lang. Napasaba natin ka last week. 2 na lang pala. Nagkamali kami kaninang umaga. Kala namin 3. 2 na lang. So we actually have the ample time to do this. Besides from our plenary work. So, wag naman ho sana gagawa ng istorya na fina-fast track namin ito na yung ibang mga important bills kailangan namin munang pagtuusan ng pansin. We actually have a lot of time now as congressmen to hear this because this is very important for our country. This will bring our country above poverty, so we need to make sure that we can, hopefully, with the pleasure of the whole Congress, led by our good Speaker Martin Romualdez, we can hear this even every day, so that we can finish this as soon as possible and hear the sides of all stakeholders.
Yung other party.
Yes.
Congresswoman.
And as well as our commitment before na we will support the version of the Senate version, gusto rin natin ng members natin na through this discussion of this RBH 7 na ngayon sa amin, ma-discuss bakit 70% to protect the Filipinos rin. Sa advertising, maiwan na 70% for Filipinos. So gusto rin ng members natin malaman din. And to make sure na tama tong decision na to. Plus with basic education na matira, 60% of Filipinos, bakit kailangan natin gawin to? So ito po, we need to go through this para rin alam natin na tama nga itong ginagawa. And as much as possible, we want to be committed also to our commitment to the Senate na we follow their lead and we'll try to adopt their RBH 6 as well. So yun lang po.
Congressman.
Yes, thank you, Senior Deputy Speaker Dong Gonzales. Just again, much has been said, so we would like to again reiterate that we are just merely being consistent with what the Senate has done. So again, sila practically nasusunod na rito, we're following their lead. Wala po naiiba po dun sa na-file na RBH 7. So as far as the Nationalist People Coalition is concerned, we fully support, we reaffirm and fully support the thrust of the authors and of the House of Representatives, especially Speaker Martin Romualdez. Thank you.
We might just have missed out on a point, no? Can we just, Brian, pwede mo bang mapakilala yung mga congressmen at saka yung the respective political parties they represent?
Okay, let's start from left. We have Congressman Joboy Aquino, Congressman Johnny Pimentel, Congressman Mark Inverga, Congressman Mehan.
Ryan, pwede pagsabi yung party nila? Party.
Okay.
Please, start po ulit.
Siguro.
Why don't we ask our congressmen to introduce themselves so that we can, and what party and what position so that they can know.
Thank you. I'm Congressman Joboy Aquino, Jose Joboy Aquino, Lakas, and the province of Agusan, 1st District, Agusan del Norte.
Good afternoon to everyone. Johnny T. Pimentel, representative of 2nd District of Surigao del Sur. I'm now in NUP party.
I am Congressman Mark Inverga of the 1st District of Quezon Province, and I represent the Nationalist People's Coalition.
I am Christine Singson of the 2nd District of Ilocos Sur, representing NPC as well as Kong Mark and Vergas.
Elry Villafuerte, President of the National Unity Party, the second biggest party in the House. We fully support this initiative, this proposal. Thank you.
Tony Pet Albano po, 1st District of Isabela, part of Lakas, the largest. And we are very supportive, especially that our president of Lakas is the speaker himself.
Of course, Don Gonzales po, 3rd District of Pampanga.
I am
Lakas. Don Gonzales, 3rd District Pampanga from Lakas.
Manix Dalipe, Executive Vice President, Lakas CMD.
David Suarez, 2nd District, Quezon Province, Treasurer, Lakas CMD.
Brian Yamsuan, Bicol Saro Party List, and representative from National Unity Party.
Jerdin Jesus Romualdo, Lone District, Camiguin, Lakas.
Judas Idre, Tingog Party List, representing the Party List Coalition.
Ace Barbers, Nacionalista Party, Surigao del Norte.
Thank you.
Okay, maybe call on Tina from GMA 7 for her question.
Sir, follow-up lang dun sa question ni Kath kanina. Is an approval by March possible? Kasi binabanggit na rin ng mga Kongs before yung sinabing deadline ni SP Zubiri.
I cannot say because we will be inviting resource persons, and we want to exhaustively discuss all of this matter. Particularly, we want also to hear the members and resource persons with regards to the resolution of both houses number 7. So as to the timeline, we cannot say yet, but we will try our best to really work double time on this, and if it needs that we have to extend our working hours in trying to hear everything, then we will do. So hindi po namin masasabi talaga kung ano po yung deadline. Pero ang masasabi po namin, we will work double time on this, and we'll see how things will go.
Ako lang personally kasi we're very happy as a member of Congress that this will be thoroughly discussed here, no? And we want to ask questions to the resource speakers, questions that are not being asked in the Senate. Ako, gusto ko na nga magtanong with una kong tatanungin kasi yung those opposing charter change, I want to ask them why they're opposed. Because most of them say it's not the right time to do it now. My question I will ask them is when is the right time and why? These are not being asked in the Senate hearings. So I want to ask them personally because the Constitution itself provides 3 modes of amendments, di ba? Yung con-con, con-as, and yung PI. The fact that the Constitution provides these modes, that means the framers of this Constitution believe the fact that what they drafted is not perfect. So that's why they gave 3 modes. So ito ang gusto kong tanungin na hindi tinatanong dun sa mga nagsasabing hindi ngayon. So we're very happy that the leadership under Speaker Martin has initiated this RBH 7, and tama rin talaga na i-declare as a committee of a whole para lahat makaparticipate. Salamat.
Well, remember in the press conference this morning, I quoted Chief Justice Puno quoted this on the Day of the Constitution, that Thomas Jefferson said that every 20 years you must revisit and even tear up the Constitution. It shouldn't be like the Ark of the Covenant where it cannot be changed. The Constitution has to be a living thing that will be adapted to the times that are there. And we feel and we believe that 37 years is already too long for an amendment. And now we are seeing that we can do it. And both houses are now thinking of the same modes, thinking of the same provisions that we want to change. The President has already also had these marching orders about the economic provisions. So I think that because the Senate and the House have the same provisions, we should now talk about it exhaustively so that the people can later decide the plebiscite when and if we finish this timely. And this is the ultimate test whether the people will understand it and say yes or no. Bottom line, ang taong bayan pa rin ang magpapasya niyan. But yes, the wish list is we want to finish this as soon as possible so that the other work that we have, like as what D.S. Suarez is saying, by SONA, we have to tackle the budget for 2025. Then there is election filing on October for our election again for next year. And then election period will come by January for the national, and I think January, February, and March, April for the local in 60, 90 days. So it is our wish list that we finish this on time, and we hope for the cooperation of both, not only our congressmen, but our resources, and also the people that want to say something about this to make this amendment better. As I've said, I did not say charter change. I used the coin charter improvement so that we can improve the lives of the people in our country.
Thank you. Are there any other follow-up questions, Tina? Okay. May we recognize Billy Vegas from Abante and Politico.
Sir, no doubt po mapapasto ng House. Pero ang question is, pag napasto ng House tapos hindi to napas ng Senate, ano pong gagawin nyo?
We will cross the bridge when we get there. But if you see, ganito yung House eh. For the past Congresses, bawat speaker, bawat Congress, may panukala, there's a proposal of the House of Representatives to update the 1987 Constitution. And if you look now, lahat po ng mode. Una, sinubukan na CONCON, Resolution of both Houses number 6. Ngayon, para wala ng pangamba, wala ng duda, pattern na talaga. Constituent Assembly, exactly the same economic provision. Constituent Assembly. So, lahat ng style, lahat ng mode, o kung paano, basta kung saan pwede, basta ma-update lang natin yung 1987 Constitution, we will do it. So that is, you can see the effort of the House of Representatives headed by any speaker who has sat, even in the present Congress, Speaker Ferdinand Martin Romualdez, we are still faithful to that intent that we have to update that Constitution, particularly the economic provisions of the Constitution, which everyone feels that this is really too restrictive. So, tingnan natin kung maipasa ng House ang resolution of both Houses number 7 at hindi ipapasa ng Senate ang kanilang resolution of both Houses number 6, which is exactly the same economic provision, then we'll see. Tingnan natin.
And may I also we are still optimistic that the Senate will pass their RBH 6 kasi para nga makita na ito na lang talaga yung gagalawin natin. That's just the economic provision and what was mentioned on RBH 6 and RBH 7.
Yeah. Thank you for that question and observation. We are a bicameral Congress, meaning we are co-equal. So if the House passes it March, April, and they want it October, valid yung tanong mo anong mangyayari. I think there should always be a middle ground, di ba? If we want it March, April, May, sila October, there should be further talks how we can meet the middle ground. I think that's the best in a bicameral Congress. And, you know, these three provisions anyway originated from them. So I think when they proposed these three amendments, I know for a fact na pinag-aralan at pinag-inisipan na nila to. So I think, delaying it further, dapat tanungin ng tao bakit gustong i-delay, di ba? So at the end of the day, this has to go through a plebiscite. Thank you.
Add ko lang, remember the press conference this morning, the scarcest resource is time. 37 years is too long already for us to wait for another 3 years. Our country has been left behind. Mika Swansing, our congresswoman, has already given the report a while ago in the economic provisions why most countries are far better now. Vietnam has more FDIs. These economic provisions that we want to pass are good for the people so that they don't become OFWs anymore because investment will come to our country. So ano pa ba ang hinahanap natin? So we appeal to our counterparts to also exhaust their efforts and their, of course, at their own pace, kasi 24 sila. But we appeal to our colleagues in the Senate, galing sa inyo ito, pinasa ng Kongreso, at siguro naman pag ang pangit naman siguro tignan sa taong bayan kung hindi nyo ipapasa sa Senate. But I know that they will because nanggaling po sa kanila. And hopefully, because nanggaling sa kanila ito, may pasa natin in time na meron naman tayong paraan para magplebisito bago po mangyari yung mga kailangan mangyari within the end of the year at next year's elections.
Can we hear Congressman Jude?
What's the greatest significance of what's happening today with this development is that if you really look at it, the House and the Senate has found a middle ground, has found the common ground for future actions on what to amend. We've agreed finally to what the Senate has actually proposed, and the House is also doing parallel efforts to go through the process of approving the same version. And to be honest, I'm a little bit more optimistic with the process in the Senate because the Senate version is actually authored by the leadership of the Senate. It's authored by the Senate President, by the Senate Majority Leader, the Pro Temp, and of course the chairperson of the subcommittee. So I have great faith that the leadership of the Senate will do their best to convince their colleagues for the passage. And I'm sure they will do a much better job than us here in Congress convincing their colleagues.
Thank you, Congressman Jude. Congressman Pimentel?
I just want to comment on the statement of earlier by Representative El Villafuerte. I totally agree with him that the time to amend our Constitution is now. There is no other time. Actually, this plan of amending the Constitution, matagal na po ito. 5 administrations have already passed and nothing has happened. I do not understand why so many people are so afraid of amending our Constitution. In other countries, they regularly amend their Constitution to be updated and to fit with our times. Yung ating Constitution po, 1935, it was amended in 1987, it's now about time that we amend to fit with the times. And there's nothing to be afraid. What we are discussing here are only the economic provisions. We are lagging behind already from our counterparts in the different Southeast Asian nations. In 2023, there were 243 foreign direct investments that came into Southeast Asia. How many did go to Vietnam? 300 foreign direct investments. 40 went to other Southeast Asian nations. Ilan po ang pumunta sa atin? 3 lang po. Why? Because the investors are afraid to come in or worried to come in because of the very restrictive provisions in our Constitution, and that is the ownership of corporation. If you are a multinational firm and you have billions of dollars, billions of pesos you would like to invest in a country, papayag ba kayo na you let go of your billions of dollars tapos you cannot even wholly own the corporation? I there are some perception na there might be some political amendments. We want to make it clear that this is only the economic provisions. Why the economic provisions? We want to open up the economy of our country, thereby providing more economic opportunities to our people and solving the problem of unemployment. Isa pong malaking problema sa Pilipinas, unemployment. If we can open up our economy, foreign direct investments will come in, we will be generating employment, thereby also solving one of the problems of our country. As I've said, and I've been consistent on this, there is no other time. Now is the time to amend our Constitution so we can be globally competitive, so that we could be at par as far as investment destination is concerned. Ito po ay hindi para sa mga congressmen, hindi po ito para sa mga senador, para po ito sa mga taong bayan. What we only want is to uplift the lives, the quality of life of Filipinos. That is all. Yung sinasabi ng mga senador na baka i-abolish sila, there is no truth to the matter. We are a bicameral legislature and will always remain a bicameral legislature. We want to make it clear that there is no plan to abolish the Senate. I don't know where they got that wrong perception. Sana po magtulong-tulungan tayong dalawang chamber ng Kongreso. Yun lang po ang objective natin, tulungan ang buong bayan at ang ating mga kapwa Pilipino. Magandang hapon po.
Ryan, baka may gusto
Okay, Billy for his follow-up question. Okay. Cut Forbes again.
Sorry po, habol ko na lang po mga kongs. With your filing of RBH 7, sinabi nyo nga po, ito po ay pagpapakita na kaisa kayo ng Senado doon sa pagsusulong po ng amyenda ng economic provisions. Panahon na rin po ba or sapat na rin po itong dahilan para patayin na po ng tuluyan yung issue ng PI na inuugnay pa rin po sa inyo? Thank you po.
Yeah, yung PI na effort ay hindi ho yun effort ng House of Representatives. Ito ho ay effort ng isang NGO o isang grupo na pirma. Ito ho ay malayo ho sa ng Kongreso. Of course, there are members of Congress who are advocating for change since probably exasperated na yung mga nag-advocate ng charter change, kagaya nung NGO ito, sila ay nagtutulak nito. And you cannot fault the member, or no one can fault the member, if a member of Congress will support the efforts of this NGO, of this firma. Kasi nga, sa kagustuhan nating amendahan yung ating saligang batas, we've done yung RBH 2, na kung saan ay pinopropose natin yung Constitutional Convention, Constituent Assembly, walang nangyari. Pinasa natin yung RBH 6 where 302 members are authors, wala pa rin nangyari. So what is the logical way and strategy to amend this Constitution? So siguro yung pirma initiated this and some of the members helped them. So, yun yung nangyaring doon. Wala ho sa kamay namin yung pirma. In fact, when COMELEC said na, okay, i-suspend muna yung pagtanggap ng mga signatures, we did not react to that because basically, we want to tell the people na wala ho kami kinalaman dyan.
If I may add, yung People's Initiative is provided in the Constitution. So, we cannot say, unless that's amended and taken out, that will always be part in one of the modes of amending. So, yan ang kailangan malaman ng tao. So, those who are saying na fake yan, mali, tainted, that is part, they have to prove it. And, I've been watching some of the hearings. Some witnesses are already admitting wala namang nabigyan ng pera. So, anybody can say, may taint of anything negative, but they have to prove it. It's just like saying, may nangyari sa isang lugar sa election, it doesn't mean that the whole election is tainted or questionable. So, let's respect the Constitution having that provision. Thank you.
Dagdagan ko lang din yung sinabi ni Kong El Rey. Dahil nga ho itong pirma, the ones who initiated this effort of getting signatures dun sa mga iba't ibang distrito sa marami yung nag-aakusa na ito ay PI, Peking Inisyatibo, PI, Politicians Initiative. To my mind, these are unfounded allegations. Kasi, wag po nating tawaran yung pag-iisip at desisyon ng mga milyong-milyong Pilipinong pumirma ho dito. And again, kagaya nung nasabi ko kayo na they probably felt exasperated bakit walang nangyayari dun sa kagustuhang pagbabago sa ekonomiya. Dumaan na ho sila dito sa mode na ito because this is also provided in the Constitution. There's nothing illegal ho dito. Wala hong illegal. Legal ho itong People's Initiative.
Wala pong masama sa Constitutional Convention, wala pong masama sa Constituent Assembly, at lalong-lalo na walang masama sa People's Initiative. Nasa Constitution po to. So whatever means that we would want to update the Constitution, there's only one sure thing. We can only do one for every 5 years. So to allay the fears that we will only have one referendum in the next 5 years, then why don't we both agree, the Senate and the House of Representatives, pass this economic provision, submit it to the people, then ask the people, anong gusto nila sa proposal ng Senate and the House? And we should always be reminded, the Constitution is owned by the people of the Philippines. The congressmen and senators don't own the Constitution. The Constitution is owned by the people, and the people will have the final say if they agree with the senators or congressmen on what changes we would like to make in their constitution by passing it through a referendum by voting yes or no. Yung constitution po sa tao to. So ang final say, hindi po sa senator, congressman, or yung mga pirma groups. Definitely, ang taong bayan ang may final say dito at sila ang magsasabi kung gusto ba nila paamendahan o pa-update ang konstitusyon na pagmamay-ari ng Filipino people. So let's move forward. We have RBH 7, they have RBH 6, Constituent Assembly. If they have a change of heart, they want to do Constitutional Convention, so be it. If the people's groups would want to have People's Initiative, which is also there in the Constitution, wala po. Lahat po yan, dadaan po yan sa taong bayan. As I said, the people of this country, the Filipino people, own the Constitution, and they have the final say on whether or not they want their Philippine Constitution be amended, updated, or no movement at all.
Okay, Billy Vegas again.
Habol lang po, sorry. Madyo, kanina po may statement kayo regarding do sa low performance ng Senate. So, lumalabas po ba na hindi nabibigyan ng priority ng Senate yung mga priority measures ng LEDAC tsaka ng Marcos administration?
No, what I just stated is that the House has been up to date, and we have already passed almost 100% of the LEDAC priority measures and the SONA priority measures. And we did a little comparison because we are a bicameral, in a bicameral setup. They are more or less in 15 to 35%. So yung House, what we're trying to tell the Filipino people is that natapos na po namin kung ano yung mga hinihingi ng ating mahal na Pangulo, President Bongbong Marcos Jr. para sa ating mga kababayan, ano-anong mga batas na kailangan ipasa ng House of Representatives as in the LEDAC and the SONA priority measures, napasa po namin. So, I do not know with the Senate, with their rating of 15 to 30% passing average, so maybe they have to also double time. Just like now, what we'll be doing, may suggestion na nga with RBS 7, Committee of the Whole House. So, we will not dilly-dally on that. We will work double time, overtime, if there's a need to. That's the character of the House of Representatives. We always act with a sense of urgency.
Dagdagan ko lang yung sinabi ni Madjo, no? So, tama yung sinabi ni Madjo Manix that ang dulo naman ito is plebiscite. Now, when do you think is the most appropriate time to have the plebiscite? I think what the Senate is proposing is isasabay ito sa midterm elections. And ako, ang personal position ko, hindi tama yon. Kasi hindi natin dapat mapoliticize yung Constitution. Dapat talaga bukod, dapat mas maaga. Ngayon, kung mas maagang gaganapin yung plebisito, dapat mas maagang matapos ng Kongreso at ng Senado yung pag-uusap tungkol dito sa RBH 6 nila at yung RBH 7. Kasi huwag nating kakalimutan, magkakasundo pa dapat kami noon bago diretso sa COMELEC, and assuming walang hurdle, saka pa lang tayo magkakaplebisito. So, ito yung nakikita naming panahon na talagang dapat na po natin masagawa ito. Ngayon, tungkol naman po sa binanggit ni Madjo sa efficiency ng Senate, siguro ang pinakamagandang sumagot ng efficiency nila, hindi sila nalang magpaliwanag. Di ba? Kung bakit ganoon yung performance level nila. Basta ang performance level ng House, 100%, no back subjects, advance pa.
And before we go on the Holy Week break, we will be able to pass all of the priority measures.
Okay, maybe call on Joy for from Filipino Star ngayon for our last for the last question.
Sir, good afternoon po. Sir, since the mood for charter reforms becomes the political battleground between the Senate and the House, and in fact some senators they're putting themselves to a high cocalorum of the legislative branch. With that RB 7, sir, what are your expectations? Of great importance, sir, on the highest.
House naman we just want to help this country, and it was even mentioned by the head of the National Economic Development Authority, NEDA, na kailangan natin buksan ang ating ekonomiya, to open up our economy. We have some provisions in the Constitution which are very restrictive. And just to be in one with the Senate, we are adopting the economic provisions which they would want to update. If you ask the other House members, there are a lot more economic provisions in the Constitution that we would like to amend. Para maalis na yung pangamba, para maalis na yung duda, we are already adjusting to what economic provisions in the 1987 Constitution that the Senate filed in RBH 6 of the Senate version, i-adapt na nga namin para wala na nga yung pangamba, yung duda. Kasi nahaluan napupolitika we would always want to reiterate, let's focus. Let's deliver this to the people and let the people decide. Bakit hindi natin ibigay? Let's bring out those provisions which we have to amend. Then tanong natin yung taong bayan, sila na magdi-decide. Hindi naman senador o congressman ang magdidesisyon dito Ang taong bayan, as I said, they own the Constitution. The final say is with the people who own the Constitution, and it is the Filipino people.
So, ano lang po, wala na siguro ang away kasi galing sa kanila itong mga provisions. So, hindi ko alam kung bakit pa mag-aawayan kasi parehong-pareho naman yung provisions na change na gusto namin sa Constitution. So what we're seeing is that because it's the same, magkatugma na ang House at Senate, ang gagawin na lang ngayon ay magtrabaho kaming dalawa at suriin at itanong sa mga eksperto kung nararapat ba ito, kung ano ang mga threshold ng 60-40, 80-20, kung anong maganda na magiging forma nitong mga economic provisions. So, hindi po away ang hinahanap namin kung hindi actually synergy between both houses to pass. And finally, for the first time in the history of the Philippines, for the 1987 Constitution, we will have an amendment after almost 4 decades.
Yes, sir. Okay, again, we thank our House leaders, Representative Joboy Aquino II of Agusan del Norte, Representative Johnny Pimentel of Surigao del Sur, Representative Mark Enverga of Quezon, Deputy Speaker Christine Singson Mehan of from Ilocos Sur, Representative Elry Villapuerte of Camarines Sur, Deputy Speaker and Isabela, Representative Tony Petalbano, Deputy Speaker Aurelio, Senior Deputy Speaker Aurelio Dong Gonzales of Pampanga, Majority Leader Manuel Manix Dalipe, Deputy Speaker David J.J. Suarez of Quezon, Representative Brian Yamsuan of Bicol Saro Party List, and then Representative J.J. Romualdo of Camiguin, Representative Judas Sidri of Tingog Party List, and Representative Ace Barbers of Surigao del Norte. Sir, thank you for, sirs and ma'am, thank you for joining us today and to our media colleagues for your participation. Good afternoon.
Hawakan niyo to. Hawak dito. Dong. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Ha?